He told me about the January light on the station's stairways. He told me that this city ought to be deciphered like a musical score. One could get lost in the great orchestral masses and the accumulation of details. And that created the cheapest image of Tokyo, overcrowded, megalomaniac, inhuman. He thought he saw more subtle cycles there, rhythms, clusters of faces caught sight of in passing, as different and precise as groups of instruments. Sometimes the musical comparison coincided with plain reality. The Sony stairway in the Ginza was in itself a musical instrument, each step a note. All that fit together like the voices of a somewhat complicated fugue, but it was enough to take hold of one of them and hang on to it. The television screens, for example. All by themselves, they created an itinerary that sometimes wound up in unexpected curves. It was sumo season, and the fans who came to watch the fights in the very chic showrooms on the Ginza were the poorest of the Tokyo poors, so poor that they didn't even have a TV set. He saw them come, the dead souls of Namidabashi he had drunk sake with one sunny dawn. How many seasons ago was that now? And then, in its turn, the journey entered the zone. Rayao showed me my images already affected by the moss of time, freed of the lie that had prolonged the existence of those moments, swallowed by the spiral. When spring came, when every crow announced its arrival by raising his cry half a tone, I took the green train of the Yamanote line and got off at Tokyo Station, near the central post office. Even if the street was empty, I waited at the red light Japanese style so as to leave space for the spirits of the broken cars. Even if I was expecting no letter, I stopped at the general delivery window, for one must honor the spirits of torn-up letters, and at the airmail counter to salute the spirits of unmailed letters. I took the measure of the unbearable vanity of the West that has never ceased to privilege being over non-being, what is spoken to what is left unsaid. I walked alongside the little stalls of clothing dealers. I heard in the distance Mr. Akao's voice reverberating from the loudspeakers, a half-tone higher. Then I went down into the basement where my friend, the maniac, busies himself with his electronic graffiti. Finally, his language touches me, because he talks to that part of us which insists on drawing profiles on prison walls. A piece of chalk to follow the contours of what is not, or is no longer, goes on about. The handwriting each one of us will use to compose his own list of things that quicken the heart, to offer, to erase. In that moment, poetry will be made by everyone, and there will be emus in the zone.
Howl for Carl Solomon. I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving, hysterical, naked, dragging themselves through the Negro streets at dawn looking for an angry fix. Angel-headed hipsters burning for the ancient heavenly connection to the starry dynamo and the machinery of night, who, poverty and tatters and hollow-eyed and high, sat up smoking in the supernatural darkness of cold water flats, floating across the tops of cities, contemplating jazz, who bared their brains to heaven under the L and saw Mohammedan angels staggering on tenement roofs, illuminated, who passed through universities with radiant, cool eyes, hallucinating Arkansas and Blake light tragedy among the scholars of war, who were expelled from the academies for crazy and publishing obscene odes on the windows of the skull, who cowered in unshaven rooms in underwear, burning their money in wastebaskets and listening to the terror through the wall, who got busted in their pubic beards returning through Laredo with a belt of marijuana for New York, who ate fire and paint hotels or drank turpentine in Paradise Alley death, or purgatoried their torsos night after night with dreams, with drugs, with waking nightmares, alcohol and cock and endless balls, incomparable blind streets of shuddering cloud and lightning in the mind leaping toward poles of Canada and Patterson, illuminating all the motionless world of time between. Peyote solidities of halls, backyard green trees, cemetery dawns, wine drunkenness over the rooftops, storefront boroughs of tea-head, joyride, neon, blinking traffic light, sun and moon and tree vibrations in the roaring winter dusks of Brooklyn, ash can rantings and kind king light of mind, who chained themselves to subways for the endless ride from Battery to Holy Bronx on Benzedrine until the noise of wheels and children brought them